warm welcome from Zurich, Switzerland Global Enterprise, to the webinar on the Expo 2020 in Dubai. I'm here today with Manuel Salchli from Présence Suisse and Rudi Büchi from Switzerland Global Enterprise. My name is Chris Watts, and I'm gonna walk you through the first part of the presentation on what Expo 2020 can mean for you and how you can bring yourself in and how you can make yourself successful in this huge venture. Now, expos have, for the last 160 years or so, been very successful moments in the history of nations and also of companies. They gave all sorts of possibilities to promote products, ideas, and foster relationships. And in that respect, the World Expo is a very successful concept that will go and become the next big thing for Dubai in 2020. Now, the Dubai Expo will be the first one in the Middle East as well as in South Asia and Africa, so it's definitely a new region. It's a very young region when you look at the average age of the population, and it will therefore connect to a completely new and different type of geographical entity and population. The main theme is called Connecting Minds. Sorry, I was a bit too fast here. Connecting minds and creating the future. So by bringing minds together, by bringing people together, the future can be created. It can be innovative and it can be new in a different way. Here are a few examples of what Expo could look like in 2020 in Dubai. My colleague Manuel Salchli will go further into this, so I will not explain too much about this at the moment. Now, when we look at the theme, Connecting Minds and Creating the Future, it sounds a bit abstract. Therefore, there was a long discussion, and the Expo team came up with 3 sub-themes. One is opportunity for people and community or communities. The other is mobility. That's a very highly discussed topic at the moment. What is the future of mobility for the world? And definitely one that cannot be left out, that is sustainability. How can we ensure a sustainable future for all of us? So those 3 sub-themes will allow to make the main theme, Connecting Minds and Creating the Future, a bit more concrete. I will leave out the Expo 2020 site explanation because Manuel Salchli will look further into this. And also these beautiful renderings that you can see here for the 3 sub-themes, opportunity, mobility, and sustainability. Manuel will talk a bit further about this in a minute, too. Now, what is the outreach and the engagement? Basically, we can talk of a global mega event that will bring nations, 180 nations most probably, somewhere between 180 and 200 nations together. It will bring another 60 to 70 major companies together, and it will allow international organizations and small and medium-sized enterprises alike to actually promote their services, their products, and grow by connecting to people. Expo 2020 will be an economic accelerator and a cultural, hopefully also a cultural renaissance for the Middle East. At least that is what the Expo 2020 team in Dubai is actually hoping for. Now, Switzerland was the first country to commit to participating at the Expo 2020, and this gives us a head start. We will be the first ones to actually be part of this huge thing, and we have been given a lot of applause from the Expo 2020 team in Dubai, and they showed tremendous happiness and gratefulness that we were actually so fast and that we committed as first. And therefore, we can actually build on this. We can bank on this and position Switzerland in a very good situation there, so that we can actually also make you benefit from all these advantages that the Expo 2020 team will offer. One thing that I would like to quickly highlight here is that, as I said before, these areas, South Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, are very young populations. 75% or more are below 20. And so youth is something extremely important for the organizers. And Swiss companies and also the Swiss Pavilion organizer has to take this into account, and we have to build around this as well. The youth will play a very important role, not only for Expo 2020, but also for people and for companies that want to make it and want to be successful in this part of the world. Now, talking about taking part and touch upon this, and we will definitely have more possibilities and more time to talk about it later during the webinar. But you can actually register at the e-sourcing portal of the Expo 2020. It's open now. This will give you access to the latest information from the organizers, and it will give you also the possibility to see when and where you can actually become part of supply and delivery of products, services, etc. that are connected to Expo 2020. This concerns the whole exposition. Talking about the Swiss Pavilion, Manuel Sartli will give you further highlights on and insights into how you can actually go about this. There have been, of course, a few major commitments from big companies. Some of you might know DP World, one of the largest operators of harbors. Etisalat, which is one of the two communication and telecom companies of the UAE. Wanda, and of course Emirates, an airline that is known to many of you. There will be many more of these. Before we go further into the topic, I'd like to just highlight a few facts and figures why an Expo 2020 in Dubai makes sense and why it is very attractive for many, many companies. And let's just go into this in a minute here. So there is a strategic location of Dubai that you might know about. When you fly through Dubai, you notice it. It is really sitting in between Europe, Asia, and Africa. And this strategic location is of tremendous importance for the future, because it will allow you to connect to markets around Dubai. 4-hour flight time to Dubai gives you access to 33% of the world population. 8-hour flights from Dubai gives you access to 66% of the world's population. Asia and Africa together combine 75%, so 3/4 of the world's population, and they're growing fast. So this is by itself already a very important argument why you should be in Dubai at Expo 2020. The countries around the Gulf themselves have a solid but slightly slowed economic growth between 2 and 4%. They have a very high purchasing power compared to other areas. They have a market size of 160 million if you combine GCC, Iran, and Iraq. Still, 60% of oil and 40% of gas reserves worldwide are located in that part of the world. And it is a hugely important area for the Swiss export industry. Currently, some 7 billion Swiss francs are being exported every year to that part of the world. We have now a free trade agreement with the GCC area, so those are the 6 Arabic-speaking countries on the southern side of the Gulf, and that free trade agreement is up and running. It's implemented now, and it will give us also an advantage, and Swiss companies an advantage over European companies, for example, because the EU has not reached an agreement on free trade with the GCC yet. We have a very highly developed infrastructure, logistics, finances, communications, and tourism. And as I said before, Dubai in particular is a global hub for trade fairs and exhibitions, not just for transport, but also for the world to meet. This highlights now the connectivity to the rest of the world, which is very impressive. And you will see that also by the fact that Dubai Airport now is the largest international airport in the world. It's #1 before London Heathrow. Quickly also a bit further on Swiss exports. I said before 7 billion to the inner region, GCC, Iran and Iraq, 15 billion to the Middle East at large. So you see the ranking there. If you put Germany is first, US is second, Hong Kong and China, if you put them together, then they would be first, and France would be fourth, and the Middle East would be fifth. So the Middle East is of tremendous importance to our economy, and definitely also to you. Quick comparison between the United Arab Emirates and Switzerland. Switzerland is currently the most competitive economy in the world. The UAE are number 17. When we look at the ease of doing business, we're very close by, 26 and 31. So we're both very easy on doing business. And we are definitely #1 when it comes to global innovation. And that is where the UAE wants to grow and develop further. The corruption perception, both countries, the higher the figure here, the better, but both countries are very good on this. The index of economic freedom, Switzerland is one of the freest, most liberal economies in the world. The UAE is moving very fast also to a good number there. So all in all, also the quality of living, Zurich is #2 at the moment, Geneva is, I think, 3rd or 4th, Dubai 75. That's a figure that is being reduced every year. So as you can see, the UAE are not as highly ranked yet, but moving in very rapidly and catching up with us. Very quick look at the GDP growth of UAE compared to the MENA region. We can see that the UAE is growing slower than the rest of the MENA region, but on a very high level GDP per capita. This is the most important that you need to know. So purchasing power and wealth as such is very high compared to the rest of the region. I don't want to go into details here. You will see this later. You will also receive it. I'm being told that I have to jump on a few of these slides here because my colleagues have a lot of very interesting things to tell you. So I will pass on with one last remark. We are going to have now a second presentation by Manuel Salchli on the Swiss project. Rudi Büchi then will take on and give you a further insight into how to actually do business in the Gulf. And at the end, we're going to have a Q&A, a question and answer session together. So you can post your questions already now. My colleagues will put them onto a screen for us, and we will then go through these questions and answer them right away. Manuel, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Chris has talked about the Swiss project. Of course, I cannot present the finished project to you yet. Switzerland just having confirmed its participation, but we can look at what the Expo can offer to us and at the next steps that we will be dealing with in order to find a project that will actually represent Switzerland at the Expo. Expo Dubai 2020, expecting 25 million visitors. about the same number of visitors that we have received in the Swiss Pavilion at the Expo in Milan 2015. Concretely, it was 21 million of people visiting the Expo in Milan. Slightly more should visit Expo 2020, which, that's very interesting, will take place not during summer months, as all the other expos usually happen, but because of the climatic conditions in the Emirates, the Expo will take place from 20th October 2020 to 10th of April 2021. It will be a winter Expo but very comfortable temperatures for all the visitors and the participating countries. Where is the Expo site exactly located? South of the Dubai, the well-known downtown Dubai, approximately 20 kilometers south, very close to the Al Maktoum International Airport, which is currently being rebuilt or renovated or turned into the largest airport in Dubai. So very strategically very nice location of the Expo, very easy to be reached not only from Dubai but also from Abu Dhabi. The Expo is counting with about 85% of the visitors coming from abroad, from any of the areas shown before, very easily to be reached from by the whole world, actually, and 15% of the people should be low. The most important at the moment is Expo 2020 Dubai. Interesting to know that about 85% of the buildings made for the Expo will remain well after the Expo. What I'm going to show you now is a short video explaining with a few texts, a few keywords, explaining to you the master plan of the Expo site with the various subtopics and the allocations of the areas where the participating countries can present themselves. Here we go. We can have a closer look at the Expo site. I have mentioned it before. 3 main areas: mobility, opportunity, sustainability. What you can see in the center, where the 3 areas connect, that's the Al Wasl Plaza. That's a huge square which is dedicated to major events happening on the Expo site. And being the first country having officially announced our participation as early as on April 15th of this year, we have now the choice for a perfect location of the Swiss Pavilion. We're currently negotiating with the organizers and hope to be given a plot in the relative vicinity of the UAE Pavilion, which is to the right-hand side of the Al Wasl Plaza between opportunity and sustainability cluster, and within the opportunity cluster. So the Swiss Pavilion should be located, if the negotiations go well, should be located within the red circle. We are reserving a plot of about 2,500 to 3,500 square meters, of which 75% can actually build up area and at least 25% must be left free, where we will be working with landscaping, of course. Swiss government has granted a credit line of 15 million Swiss francs for the whole operation, Swiss Pavilion Expo Dubai, half of which is reserved for the construction of the pavilion, the other half being reserved for operational costs, preparation costs, etc., etc. 15 million credit line granted by the Swiss government. This credit line is yet to be confirmed by the parliament, which will happen, we will see it later as well, which will happen by the end of 2017. What are the elements of particular interest to you also of the Swiss Pavilions? Next to the general exhibition that we're yet to be conceiving and creating, we will have standard elements that we and our partners will be able to use. We will have a covered rooftop terrace serving as a VIP area. We'll have our private lounge next to this VIP lounge. We have an event space. The event space can be used for seminars, roundtables, presentations, etc., etc. Public restaurant, also outdoor in this wonderful winter climate of the Emirates. A public restaurant and also a shop dedicated to the sale of Swiss luxury products. We believe that can be sold very well, and also typical Swiss souvenirs. And I've mentioned it before, of the 3,500 square meters, about 1,000 square meters will actually remain open space in the open. This is the current schedule of the creation of the Swiss Pavilion, I may say. We are currently working on the public tender that we will put on cmap.ch. It will be a WTO tender, which we will publish by the end of July. It's a procedure in 2 steps. In the first step, we will look for architects and scenographers to qualify themselves with reference projects and one first idea for the Swiss Pavilion. We will select a maximum of 8 teams that will be invited to submit an offer, the offer consisting of a concept for the Swiss Pavilion and the respective pricing. We will evaluate these offers in the beginning of November, and will then be able, by mid of November, to present the project that will represent Switzerland at the Expo 2020 in Dubai. Then in the whole process, there will be an artificial break, because we cannot sign any contracts or commit any money before the federal parliament has approved the credit. So there will be an artificial break within the project of approximately 1 year until the end of 2017. However, based on the project that will be selected by the beginning of November, we can actually start negotiating in 2017 with potentially interested Swiss companies. The construction will start in about winter 2018-19, with the target to be ready in spring 2020, well before the opening of the Expo and well before the heat will actually not allow any construction to go on. How can Swiss companies be integrated in the Swiss Pavilion? To start with, of course, you can be integrated or included in the construction of the pavilion. The general construction company will also be selected through a WTO tender that we will publish by mid-2018. I'm sorry. By mid-2018, we will be looking into finding a general contractor who can build the pavilion, hopefully with a lot of Swiss products or services going into the construction of the pavilion. Once the pavilion is ready, you can be present at the pavilion with your own exhibition. That is, if you become a paying partner or sponsor of the Swiss Pavilion, we will leave some areas open for corporate presentations within the pavilion or the exhibition room. You can host your events at any of our lounges or event spaces. You are invited to invite your staff, your employees, or your customers or potential customers to the Swiss Pavilion for your own corporate events or presentations. You can organize roundtables, thematic events, whatsoever. What our offer is to these companies becoming a partner, event partner of the Swiss Pavilion, we can offer you and your guests a complete day at the Expo, a visit of the Swiss Pavilion, your corporate event, and visit of the Expo with easy access to the most popular pavilions that can be part of our offer to the Swiss industry as well. One other implication for Swiss companies with their products in particular is the restaurant. We will have a Swiss restaurant. A restaurant serving typical Swiss food is foreseen in the Swiss Pavilion as we've had it in Milano. And last but not least, we are also looking for Swiss companies selling goods at the shop of the Swiss Pavilion. The one in Milano was rather small. We believe there's a very big potential in Dubai to serve Swiss quality food and luxury items. So you are also invited to contact us if you're interested in selling your products through the Swiss Pavilion. I have not talked too much about how the Swiss Pavilion will look like because I have showed you there will be a public tender looking for the project for the Swiss Pavilion. But what I can tell you, our idea is to open the Swiss Pavilion with a cliché, with a positive stereotype, with something that we're known for in Dubai, that is quality, clean water, beautiful landscape. And then once the people have recognized, oh, Switzerland is presenting itself, then we will open the door to a more innovative, modern, open and forward-looking Switzerland. I have reached the end of my presentation and give now the word to my colleague. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm very happy to round up our short presentation on Switzerland Global Enterprise and our opportunities, how we can help you to be successful in the market and to enter the specific market now for this expo, but in general for all the potential in the whole GCC region. So this is our idea to help you on a step-by-step base. So we highly think and believe in success in the markets, in having the right informations on markets, on export know-how, on studies on the market. We can help you in analysis, strategy, how to enter the market. And then, of course, we can help you in selected contact to business partners, to companies, to government authorities, and to trade fair participants. We do all of this in a network system, together with our Swiss business hubs, embassies, chambers, and a lot of experts who work in specific fields. These are some of our, let's call, modules, what we offer for companies. So you see here almost everything from giving you information about the market, about the situation in the market, until going into the market and having the right contacts. To mention a few, like a market finder to understand who is in the market, market players, their prices, how is their setup in the market, or finding the right partners means a selection of qualified, perfect partners for your needs. This is our network, our global network. So you might not only look for the Middle East, we are also here for the whole world. We have a setup with nowadays 21 Swiss business hubs worldwide. In the Middle East, we work together with substations. I come later on this, but this is our whole network. So please profit if you want to also explore other opportunities worldwide. So this is a little bit, again, facts on the region. So we speak about the GCC region with around 50 million population. As we heard already from Chris Watts, around 7.6 billion exports from Switzerland. You see here 3 billions to United Arab Emirates, nearly 3 to Saudi, followed by Qatar with nearly 1 billion. So these are very important markets if you compare with the worldwide markets for Switzerland. This is our setup in the Middle East with our hub, Swiss Business Hub Middle East, with the main office in Dubai, where we have colleagues who know the market by heart on an economic base, but also the language of the market and the cultural behavings and how to really enter into the market in the right way. We have colleagues, as I said, in Dubai for the United Arab Emirates, Oman and Kuwait. We have a colleague in Riyadh for Saudi Arabia and another colleague in Doha, Qatar for Doha, Qatar and for Bahrain. A few ideas next to the fair, next to Expo 2020. But because for sure you might need to be on a sustainable entry into the region, and you might look for others. We see that there's a strong movement in the UAE from oil to tourism, trade, transport, what we heard already. So a lot of opportunities in infrastructure, services, logistics, facility management, but also the whole hotel, restaurant, catering sector, building technology, health, and of course training for your partners. The challenges entering into the region is from our side always finding the right partner. So we are here for you. We can help you in opening the doors, selecting qualified partners. We can help you to prepare a fair like Expo 2020, to do it right, to connect you with the people, with construction companies, with general contractor, but also with architects, to help you to know them, to hear from them where the opportunities are, what to do, how they would like to enter with you together in the market and to have at the end success. So we always think about selecting the right contacts. Qualified contacts is very important for us. We strongly believe on a continuous follow-up, so please don't go just once into the region. Try to follow up your contact to put it on a sustainable base, and we are here together as a team to help you with our team in the region, but also with experts, and a lot of people can help you. Please don't forget about timing. The right timing is very important. Nowadays, it's already still Ramadan for another 2 weeks. Then we have summertime, a very hot summertime. So business might slow down during this time. So please be aware that you have to concentrate on the months where it's also for you a little bit better to travel around. Control, coordinate, cooperate. It sounds a little bit military based, but we always really recommend to do this very good, and really try with your partner to keep them on track. And of course, last but not least, training, know-how transfer. Try to give your partner the right ideas, the measures to be successful. So thank you very much. This is the whole team. Chris Watts is with me here today and my team colleagues from right, Chris Watts as mentioned, Sarah Messaoudi in Doha, Abir Nasser in Dubai, next to me Lamia Damerji in Dubai, and Larbi El Atari in Riyadh. So we were more than happy to help you on an individual base. Please, if following this discussion of today, if you have questions, you can anytime contact me. I will be very happy to come to your company. You can see us here at Switzerland Global Enterprise to discuss your ideas and what we can make to have a success for you at Expo 2020, but a successful entry into the whole market of the Middle East. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rudy, Manuel. And just to wrap it up here, I think what you've heard now over the last couple of minutes, half an hour, is really the gist of what's ahead of you. To highlight a few of these points again, we're expecting 25 million visitors. 70% will come from other countries than the UAE, which means that it will become the most international expo ever. Most probably 180 or even more countries will participate. We're going to have well, we expect somewhere between half of the world to look at it and to even think of going there, because the location is so central, so strategically important. So don't even think of just limiting yourself to Dubai. It's the Middle East, it's South Asia, it's Africa. And we're going to have an incredible amount of money being invested in the expo. We're currently expecting some 25 billion dirhams. That is roughly about 8 to 9 billion US dollars being invested in the expo itself. And this is, of course, money that also will trickle through into the companies that will participate as well. So I think it's an extremely exciting story. We are still ahead of it, so we're not. We don't have to catch up with it, but we're really number one. We're had a fantastic start, also thanks to the Foreign Ministry and the Bundesrat to actually get things going and give the green light to a participation. And I think with this, we should really make the best of it now and make sure that Switzerland will be very prominently presented and represented at the Expo. Now I can see now that we're having a few questions here from the audience, and thank you very much for already now for participating so actively. Maybe I can give the first question to you, Manuel. How many companies could participate and how is the selection? Now I assume that Rolf Senti is alluding to the Swiss Pavilion and the Swiss House, so maybe you can talk about this for a second.
Thank you, Chris. It's not a very easy answer to this question, how many companies can participate based on the project which will be selected for the Swiss Pavilion by beginning of November of this year. President Switzerland will come up with a sponsorship concept listing various categories and with the respective amounts to be spent to become a partner of the Swiss Pavilion. We do need to find quite a few big sponsors, as the Swiss government has not only granted a credit line of 15 million, but also stipulated that half of this money should come from the private sector. So we have to generate 7.5 million Swiss francs of sponsorship monies. I've said it, we need a few big sponsors, maybe 3 to 5 big sponsors, a couple of smaller sponsors, maybe 8 smaller sponsors, still paying a considerable amount of cash. And where the field is wide open is the in-kind sponsoring, meaning companies that supply free of charge solutions or products to be used in the construction of the Swiss Pavilion or to be sold in the restaurant and the shop. So no fixed quantities, but we will approach the various companies on various levels as early as January, February 2017 with a concrete proposal.
Thank you very much, Manuel. We have another question here regarding the size of the company that can participate. So we have the question whether startup companies can actually join, or is it too expensive for them? I think I can put that question also to Rudy, because it also concerns the region. Can startup companies actually go to the Middle East and be successful there? What's your point on this?
I think if a company does your homework, means that you're prepared on what you expect on the market, that you prepare your business plan, you have a clear concept on your products, if you have your documentation in that, at least in English and everything. So based on a step-by-step scenario, we are more than happy to help you entering the market. But for sure, it's important to know that it is not an overnight success. you need time. That's our experience. You need time to be successful there, and you need to prepare it. But we can help you, and for sure, it's also for a small, medium-sized enterprise. It's a market to be successful.
Absolutely. Now, of course, one of the topics is sustainability. One of the sub-themes is sustainability. And there is another question here on electricity for the Swiss house. How is that going to be provided? And how, or is there a possibility that Swiss companies could bring in their innovative solar solutions to power the Swiss Pavilion? Manuel, we've talked about this before. Interesting
Absolutely.
question.
Sustainability is one of the 3 sub-themes of the Expo, so it will definitely also be a topic for the Swiss Pavilion, knowing that normally for temporary buildings, it's very hard that sustainable solutions will actually pay. What is a given fact is that the Expo will provide the Swiss Pavilion with water and energy and be responsible also for the sewage of the Swiss Pavilion. What we will do with this energy within the compound of the Swiss Pavilion, if we will use it as given by the Expo, or if we will install solar panels on the roof of the Swiss Pavilion or on the site, on the plot of the Swiss Pavilion, that is up to us. It will be tentatively difficult to make it a economic solution because we talk about the temporary building, but definitely we are very interested in talking to such companies and in order to find out how we can integrate them into the construction of the Swiss Pavilion.
And if I can just add on this, the Expo 2020 team in Dubai declared the goal of providing at least 25% of the overall energy that will be used for the Expo should come from renewable energy sources. So that is definitely in that line. Another question is, how do we define big, medium, or small sponsors in monetary terms? Where does it start? Obviously, there is no end to it.
I would say it can be sponsoring can be anything between 50,000 cash to up to 1.2 million Swiss francs cash, depending on what you want. If you want your own exhibition space plus a contingency for hospitality, visibility, communication efforts, it's a big. It's a very big engagement of a sponsor. If you can also just be present, I've mentioned it before, as an official supplier, that means you give us a certain number of your products or your solutions free of charge, so no cash out for you. But the cash categories, I believe, thinking of previous expos and expos that we're currently working on, will be between 50,000 and 1.2 million.
Right, and that would also answer the next question: what is the minimum to invest by any company that wants to participate? Basically, we have covered that question as well. Now, if there are no further questions, I'd like to thank you very warmly through my colleagues also down in the region. Nope, there is another question. Very good. Are there any concrete events planned already for the Swiss Pavilion? Now, maybe we can answer this question in 2 ways. One, how it is intended right away, and maybe also what other concrete events are planned on the way, on this journey towards the Expo 2020. Manuel, can you take the first part?
Yes, what I can tell you that there is standard events at the Swiss Pavilion, big events basically. That will be the official opening on October 20th. That will be the official day of Switzerland within the context of Expo. The date has not been defined yet. That's a date that we will celebrate in the presence of the president of the Swiss Confederation. And then the Swiss Pavilion, or our idea is that it will be used for your own event. So basically we have infrastructure available for you to hold your own events in the premises of the Swiss Pavilion. What we will provide, we will try to integrate cultural events in the overall planning. There's a lot of public event spaces on the Expo site. We will provide cultural activities for these events, but what will be happening at the Swiss Pavilion, other than the 2 official days, that will be hopefully highly dominated also by the interest of the economic sector.
Right. And to the second part, if I may quickly take that up, and you can maybe add on that later. Yes, we're planning to have most probably around early November to mid-November another event, information event in Dubai with Swiss companies, hopefully also together with Expo 2020 team from Dubai. That point in time is selected because at that point we should know about the concept and the theme that we will put into the Swiss Pavilion. Manuel, maybe you can highlight this further.
Right. We will, as you have seen it on the planning before, we will be ready to present the project for the Swiss Pavilion. I believe, as we have been the first country to officially confirm its participation, we might actually be the first country to present the concept for the Swiss Pavilion. Again, a head start. Also, friendship building with the organizers who need good news along the process. So in November, we will be going to the Emirates to present the project to potentially interested companies, Swiss companies, and we might want to do the same thing in November or early 2017 also in Switzerland.
There was already another question before about how to actually tackle this. I mean, what is the next step for a company here in Switzerland? Maybe not one that is already in Dubai, but one that is still in Switzerland. Rudy, how would you go about this?
I think companies who are not yet in Dubai, as I said during my presentation, we can help you in finding some market information, helping to find the right partner, a selected partner. So it's all on a base of a personal discussion. So I'm more than happy to come to your company, to see your company, to discuss with all of you how to enter into the market. And it's always like a discussion how to see how you do that, for example, in near markets like Germany, Austria, and how we could help you to enter Middle East. It's always to clearly understand your ideas, of course, your budget situation, your timing, and then we can discuss how we can help you to support in finding the right contacts, open the right doors, and bringing you to a successful entry into the market. So I'm more than happy to see you personally, as I said, in your company, or come here to Switzerland Global Enterprise in Zurich at the Stampfenbachstraße 85.
Excellent. Maybe I come to the last question because we really have to wrap it up now. Will the Swiss Pavilion be planned and built by Swiss architects? And will it be planned here in Switzerland? Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. We're bound to respect the rules of the WTO. I've mentioned it before. There will be a public tender in order to find the most suitable architect and scenographer to plan the Swiss Pavilion, and there will be another public tender to find the most suitable and most economic general contractor to build the Swiss Pavilion. It may very well be that it is a foreign architect and or a foreign general contractor.
With this, I'd like to close this webinar. I'd like to thank you very warmly from our side here in Zurich, but also from the team in Dubai and in the Middle East. We're very much looking forward to welcoming you all and helping you to make it a very successful expo for you and make this your entry into the Middle East if you're not already there. I'd also like to highlight that there will be a questionnaire about this webinar, whether you're happy, whether you learned something that was useful to you. Hopefully it was. Please do answer this. It will give us feedback for our next webinar, and this is definitely from our side not the last one that we want to do on Expo 2020. With this, I wish you a wonderful evening and hope to hear from you soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.